Yes, guys, welcome back to DR Sports. It's 5 o'clock and it's Transfer News Live, right? With myself, AG2. We've got Dylan in the building.
How are we, fella? I'm feeling very good, even though my team lost yesterday, which may be an odd one, but no, I'm feeling all right, feeling happy, and ready to dive into some transfer business.
Nice. We love to see it. Right, guys, smash that like button. Get your comments in. We are talking about the following coming up. Jadon Sancho, Savinho, Eze, as well as Isak and Guehi and Wissa as well, who has removed Brentford from his socials. But before we get into all of that, a reminder, this show is brought to you by the final one standing over at William Hill. As you know, the first week has now gone and passed. Well, actually, it hasn't, because tonight Leeds do play Everton. But some of you will have gone through, like me, who chose Tottenham. Imagine relying on Tottenham and they actually come through and
it's
deliver.
It's a good pick from you, to be fair, because they're out the way now. You don't need to worry about them.
Exactly. So some of us are still in, but some of us not so much, like Abby. So if the team that you picked won, you're safe to fight another game week, right? But if your team lost and went out of the competition, then don't worry. There's another chance to win some cash, 50k actually. You can make your next pick as early as tomorrow morning, with Everton and Leeds still to play tonight, but no stress, you're not out for good. A brand new game launches every game week here, with new jackpots to play for this week. Like I said, 50k. Right? Not bad whatsoever. And if you forgot to enter last week as well, like Doyle did, the absolute sausage, the new game's already open and ready to join. So someone is guaranteed every time, Dylan, to win a bit of cash. You're 25 now. You know,
I am 25.
Perfect. It's the perfect age to play, because it has to be over 18, UK and Ireland only. Always gamble responsibly. To get involved, the QR code is on the screen. We've also got the link below for you as well. So final one standing, get involved, and there's nothing like being that Don in the group chat with the elite ball knowledge like myself, right? So T's and C's apply, 18 plus, UK and Ireland only as well. Get involved with that. Right, shall we start then with Jadon Sancho, who belongs still to Manchester United. The forward Jadon Sancho is unlikely to join AS Roma. They did make a bid, Dylan, of £20 million for Sancho. He did speak to the Italian club, massive club as we know. But now he's decided he wants to explore other options. Sky Sports News had been told it's nothing to do with the personal terms. They were okay. But a number of clubs remain interested in doing a deal for him, including Borussia Dortmund, who he's had two spells at. One of them obviously got to the Champions League final. So with that offer on the table, he's rejected it essentially. Yeah. Even though, you know, personal terms were okay, but he's waiting, is he not, for a more familiar club for him, Borussia Dortmund, to come in and almost save him for the third time.
So Dortmund are interested, allegedly, right? Well, reportedly, sorry. But I still find it hard to think, what is he looking for? What's he waiting for? Because he had a decent contract offer at Chelsea. I believe it was between 120 and 150 grand a week, which is around about half what he's on United. But that's similar to what Cole Palmer's initial contract was, what a lot of their other kind of more senior players are on. And he's a Chelsea fan. He played on loan for his boyhood club, and he came out and he said no. And then there was Juventus. Juventus came in thinking here and there, and then Juventus couldn't quite agree a fee with United, but he apparently wanted to go to Juventus. That then fell through. Then AS Roma have now come forward, and they've bid 20 million. United have accepted it, or just said, yeah, we're good to go. And then AS Roma have kind of offered him a contract, and he's gone, maybe not. And then Turkish clubs have also come in, and Turkish clubs have gone, we want you. He's got like 4.5 million comments on his last Instagram post of Besiktas fans being like, come to Besiktas, and he's gone, no, I won't think about. So
4.5 million is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I kept refreshing it just to check out again, and it was like 100k, 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 mental. But then he said he won't, as far as I remember reading earlier today, he said he won't consider Turkish clubs until September. And I'm sat there thinking, you know, September isn't.
Because they've got an extended window.
But September's in 2 weeks.
Why is that? Why do Turkish teams get that extra bit of time?
That's just how they set it. I think they start later and end later. Like their transfer window. It's just how it, because obviously English, like any transfer window can be set by whatever country it is. That's why England at one point had really late one and a really early one, because we just decided to change it.
Right.
But it baffles me trying to work out what he's asking for, because it's not like Roma is a bad team. He'd be playing, they might not be in European competition, but he's playing in a top 5 league. He'd be playing every week in a slower league as well, which will help him get better. And he will play easier tempo and all this and all that. And so it's really starting to baffle me who he thinks he is and what he's actually waiting for. Because I also remember there were reports 2 weeks ago from the German media. Europa League. That's not bad. Go get in the Europa League. You've won the Conference League. Go step up. Try and win the Europa League with Roma. Play in Serie A. Prove yourself. 2 years in Serie A. You're then 26. Have a good couple of years. Then you can potentially make that big move that you might be looking for now. But Dortmund are worried, as far as I remember Sky Germany said this a few weeks ago. Dortmund are worried about signing Sancho because it may come across as unimaginative. It'll be the third time they've signed the guy. So Dortmund themselves are a bit worried about actually going in for Sancho or not. And we know Dortmund will come in last minute, try and undercut United with some loan deal with a £10 million option to buy. And United are just going to sit there and say no. And then Sancho's going to go, oh, okay, it's September. Okay, I'm going to end up in Turkey. So after rejecting Chelsea, after rejecting AS Roma and failing to find personal terms and stuff with other clubs, he's going to end up in Turkey, not in a top 5 league.
Is that where you reckon he'll end up?
I don't know, but I feel like that's the way this is heading. Because I can't figure out, especially if personal terms weren't an issue with Roma, but then he still decided not to go to Rome in the end. For the life of me, I just can't figure out what he's doing. Because he clearly wants to leave as well. He clearly wants to leave and play football.
All parties want some kind of resolution to this. It's just been a bit of a mess from minute one, really. Well, and you were in for him for so long as well, weren't you, in terms of chasing him and getting his signature finally.
It's gutting how it's ended up. Because I remember a few years ago, obviously, Fabrizio Romano's whole big come-up was on the Jadon Sancho thing. He got millions of followers off that, following that story for about season and a half, about 18 months, 2 years. And we finally got him. I saw the Here We Go, and it was amazing. I remember I was back at uni. I ran into my mate's uni room and went, look, we finally blah, blah, blah. And then he was fine. And then he had and then he dropped out for a bit, and then he came back, and then he had the argument, and then he's at Dortmund, and then he was at Chelsea, and the whole thing's just a mess. Yeah, and it's unfortunate how it's turned out, but at the same time, he's just really stunk it up.
And he wants obviously to get back in that England squad before the World Cup next summer. So I guess in terms of clubs, I mean, the ones you listed, perfectly fine places to go and, play your football, getting back in amongst the ideas for England. But D Guy 21 says, remember all the hype surrounding Sancho going to United? Long seasons since. Aminor says, where are all the Sancho fanboys now? Disgusting. Dylan, Eric Ten Hag should buy Jadon freedom fighter Sancho.
I don't think so. Personally, I don't think that's going to be happening. I'm surprised.
Leverkusen?
I'm surprised. Well, I mean, Sancho and Ten Hag had the whole falling out.
Yeah.
You know what? Jadon Sancho, his thing, part of his statement that he put out, which caused all of this, I believe part of it said that he wanted to just play football with a smile on his face. Yeah. And that just further makes me think, what's going on now? If you just want to go and play football, go and play for a team like AS Roma. Go and accept a 120 contract a week at Chelsea. Like, they're in the Champions League. They've just won the Club World Cup. It just, like, if you really want to go out and play football with a smile on your face, you would accept these kind of offers. But it just increasingly feels like he's going to end up on a £20 million transfer to Besiktas. What's
the actual fee that United want?
About
what's
20
the
mil.
fee that you think they'll get?
If they want about 20 mil.
Nothing more than that.
No, it won't be more than that. We can't ask for more than that. I think this is how bad it's become. I think 20 mil is fine. Yeah. Like, that's the friend. If you get him off the books, once his wages are off the books as well, that is about another 12-15 million a year. Like with Rashford, wages off the books saves us about 20 mil, including taxes and all this and all that added on at the end of it. So about 20 million, like 17 to 20 million is what we want, and I think that's what we'll get, because he might be waiting for Dortmund to lowball it in the last couple of days of the window, like Anthony is with Real Betis. We are just going to turn around, I think, and say no. Especially if we end up offloading Højlund for like 40 million or whatever it is with AC Milan. I can't see you
getting that as well.
Well, but that's what the talks are in for. Like, AC Milan are willing to agree to something around those lines. So he will try and maybe wait for Dortmund, and United will turn around and say no, and then he's going to go to Turkey, and Turkey teams will pay about 15 to 20 million for him. I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah, Dortmund could do, like you said, a low ball offer very late on in the window. The Turkish window extended, isn't it? So, you can go there well after the English transfer window is shut. So there's still options for Jadon Sancho at this stage. But like you said, the Premier League has now started. He's nowhere near the squad at all. A couple of other players are in his boat as well, where there's just no way back into the United squad. So obviously the best decision is now just to leave. Where do you guys at home think he ends up? Maybe we do a poll for that one and ask the people at home how Jadon Sancho leaves. Is it, on the last day of the transfer window? Is it a week before? But most importantly, where does it go? What should the options be in this poll? Borussia Dortmund, Roma.
No, but he's not going Roma.
Okay, Borussia
Dortmund or Turkey.
Or somewhere in Turkey, right? Maybe we do a poll.
Turkey looks more and more likely because initially it was I don't want to move to the Turkish league, and then now it's I won't consider the Turkish league until September, and September's in 2 weeks. We've got literally, I think, doesn't it shut 2 weeks today?
Yeah, September the 1st.
Yeah, literally 2 weeks today. And he's rejecting offers left, right and centre. And we need the money.
He must be waiting out for that one special club, though, to come through. But who does he think that is?
Well, he probably assumes it's Dortmund because Dortmund are nice and cuddly to him.
You're not happy with them, are you?
Well, because I know exactly what's going to happen. They're just going to they're just going to come in and they're going to go, okay, 3 million loan fee and we'll pay off his wages. Why would they come in
now with 2 weeks to go? They would be told to go as late as you can and get.
Yeah, they will, and that annoys me because we've had other offers.
Yeah.
Like Chelsea were willing to pay the 25 million and didn't because they couldn't agree wages, and then we've agreed another 20 million fee with Roma, and he's been fine with personal terms, and then turned around and still said no. So we are just going to turn around and say no.
Yeah, Kieran I really in the think chat. We are. Kieran in the chat said, "I'd take him at Forest."
He's not a terrible player. He isn't a terrible player. He was bad for us. He was okay at Chelsea. He scored some nice goals. He got about 15 or 16 goal involvements for them, playing as a bit part left winger, in and out of the team. But he scored in the Conference League final for them as well. It's not like he's a shocking player. It's not worked out at United because he couldn't hack it. Is how it feels. He just couldn't hack being United.
Yeah.
So he is worth at least still that £20 million to
someone. Yeah.
To somebody.
Staying on Roma, they are they've been given the here we go treatment by Fabrizio Romano, Leon Bailey to AS Roma. Here we go. It's a £2 or £3 million is that pounds or euros? I'm not too sure. Loan fee plus 22 million buy option clause. Now, Leon Bailey, I've actually really enjoyed watching him play. I think he's a very exciting player at Aston Villa, but they've just gone and kind of reintroduced a new front line that they're hoping will, at least keep them in the Champions League. But he seems to be surplus to requirements at the minute. But Roma definitely doing bits in this window so far, aren't they, in terms of keeping an eye on Premier League stars who may be out of favour. And I think that's a great deal. 2 to 3 million loan fee, perfect.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of
Aston Villa probably would have wanted to sell him instead of the loan, right?
Yeah, but I think it's just, I think he's going because I feel like he's not in that Villa team anymore, really, is he? Compared to, as you said, the other front line they have.
I'm just going to look up some stats on him.
I remember he was at Leverkusen, wasn't he, before?
Yeah,
and he was good. He was linked with him. I think Ten Hag wanted him.
110 games for Aston Villa in the Premier League, 16 goals. Isn't the best return, obviously, but similar stats actually at Leverkusen, 119 games. This is all league stats and 28 goals. I actually didn't realise he's been at Villa for 4 years now.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe 3.
He was a big future star on FIFA.
He was still 28 though. Still, got time there, but it just hasn't played. If you look at for a 28-year-old, he's only got maybe just shy of 300 league games. I think. I don't know. That might be
what he's thinking now.
Yeah.
He's thinking, I'm 28. I've got 300 league appearances across my career. I need a couple more. And so we'll go to Roma and he'll probably start at Roma.
He probably will.
Because I think they wanted Bailey and Sancho.
Yeah.
And they've obviously only got one. So Roma will come in and they'll go and find someone else. It might be another Premier League winger, who knows. Maybe Anthony, if you want to come collect Anthony instead.
What's he doing? Because again, nowhere near the squad, is he?
It's the same thing as Sancho. But actually, no, it's slightly different than Sancho. Basically, Anthony has a load of offers from a load of clubs. Atletico like him. He's been linked with a couple other Serie A clubs, and obviously Betis love him. But Betis are playing the poor team card and basically hoping that United are sympathetic towards them and give them some weird co-owned rights deal thing. And Anthony's just holding out for it. And according to a couple of reports, United have turned around to Anthony and gone, we're not going to accept Betis's offer if they put in this random loan bid with a buy option or a weird buy clause thing. They just said, we're not going to do it. And I think Betis and Anthony are plotting to call United's bluff and go on the last day of the window. And I really hope we turn around and just go, no.
And then just let him rot.
Yeah, and just let him rot. Because
I like nicely, don't you?
But it's more the way of their, like, Anthony saying no to every other team because he's expecting us to crumble. I'm just saying, don't crumble. If these players are putting pressure on United to crumble in the transfer window, accept these low transfer fees and pay off their wages and stuff, as a club, we need to turn around and say no. If they're trying to make an example out of us by strong-arming us into these terrible deals, we have to stand strong and do the same back because it won't happen again in future.
Okay, let us know. Anthony's still on the out list, obviously, as is Jadon Sancho. Who else would you say has to leave in the next 2 weeks?
Well, Malacia and... So what is it? Malacia, Sancho, Green... Oh, yeah. Garnacho. But Garnacho is going to Chelsea. I think that'll be sorted.
Late on.
We're late on, but Chelsea need to make sales. That's why that's not happened yet.
There's
Chelsea
still a few dominoes to fall, isn't there? In this
so
window?
Bayern is still talking with Chelsea about Nkunku, and then they're also trying. I can't remember who else Chelsea trying to offload. There's a second because it's like Chelsea need to offload Nkunku and someone else. Chat can remind me if you know. And then they're signing Simmons or Xavi, sorry, and Garnacho. But they're just waiting. They're just waiting. Yeah,
and it's not like they've got no other players that they could play. They've got millions of wins.
Well, Gittins played yesterday, and on Saturday. No, it was yesterday. They played Palace yesterday, and I saw a lot of Chelsea fans saying Gittins looks really raw. Yeah. And Garnacho being someone who's... Nico Jackson, thank you, Kenya. Jackson's the one they're trying to offload. So get off Jackson, get off Nkunku, and then sign the other two.
Yeah, okay.
And I think Garnacho will probably end up starting for them, especially if Gittins is as raw as people are saying he has been.
D-Guy says 2 weeks left and all this. Yikes. Absolutely. Kieran says he'd take him at Forest when we were talking about Sancho, and then he said he can be back up for Hudson-Odoi. Matt says I'd have him at West Ham, not going to lie, swap deal, and James Ward-Prowse, and he's yours. Ooh. Does Sancho even want to play or happy just picking up the money playing PlayStation, says DSR. And Jamil T reminds you that it was Nico Jackson. Staying in the Premier League, Manchester City have decided that Savinho is to stay. That kills any possibility of Rodrygo now joining Manchester City. Real Madrid did not get an offer for him, as it was depending on Savinho leaving. So that's a kind of an example of a chain effect, a domino, whatever you want to call it, a transfer triangle, where because thing A doesn't happen, thing C doesn't happen either, and the middle kind of part falls down, and we've seen so many of them this season. I mean, you could even argue that the Isak one, which we're going to speak about shortly, is a transfer triangle because Liverpool are waiting for them to get a replacement and then they can go in, but they're waiting on the selling club of the replacement. It's a long old triangle, but Rodrygo to stay at City, Savinho to stay at City, Rodrygo to stay at Madrid. Xabi Alonso did actually speak about this. He basically just said rumours are rumours, nothing's decided on Rodrygo leaving. So it looks like because Savinho is staying, it looks like Rodrygo stays at Real Madrid as well now.
Yeah, wasn't there a whole weird thing about that during the Club World Cup? Like he played and didn't play and played and didn't play. Like generally, don't Real Madrid just get rid if people want to leave? Yeah, I think so. It seems that maybe it was never as
he started the first game in the Club World Cup. I remember us doing it, and Trent played in the game, so that's how I remember. But then I think he missed the next 5 games.
Yeah, but then
he was linked to Liverpool as well at one point.
If Rodrygo seems set to stay at Real Madrid, then that makes me think that maybe it was never his transfer was never as certain as it was maybe made at. Like when he'd been linked to Arsenal and he'd linked to links to Man City and a couple other clubs, and it was kind of Rodrygo's on the market for sale, blah blah blah. I feel like maybe he wasn't. Maybe it never really was as much as saying it was, because Real Madrid would just as soon as Casemiro was I might want to leave, as soon as Varane, for example, was I might want to leave, they just went, cool, gone. They get rid of players like that.
Yeah, ruthless, aren't they?
So surely if Rodrygo had said, I might want to leave, they would have forced him out the door. They'd have made a deal happen with someone at some point.
But they've got to wait for that buying club to sort their stuff out. And obviously they thought Savinho was going to Tottenham, which is now not the case. He's staying at Manchester City. So who can Madrid loan him out, or not loan him out to? Who can they flog him to?
It's not like
Liverpool aren't.
It's not like Rodrygo didn't have suitors. Like Real Madrid probably could have
afford that.
I don't know. Well, Real Madrid probably maybe could have compromised, or like I don't know, just done the thing that they are, which is be very good at selling.
Yeah, Arsenal, City, Liverpool probably all interested in him at some point.
I feel like Real Madrid would have brought him to the
about
table.
His availability, maybe. What's your situation at Real Madrid? Do you have an eye on the door? Can we, be that team that you look at? But yeah, Tottenham fans, how does that make you feel? Because obviously Savinho, last week at least, definitely strongly interested in the move to Tottenham. It looked pretty certain at one stage. But again, he stays at City. So how does that maybe not help Tottenham in their pursuit for another creative/wide player? Yes, they're looking at Eze, and which we'll speak about that next. But it's it's a bit of a blow, is it, for Tottenham not getting Savinho?
It definitely is if they were looking at both. If they were looking at Savinho and Eze, and then they only get Eze, then they're going to have to go find someone else as well. Because clearly Thomas Frank wants that many players. It's such a big signing that it's clearly an area that he's identified that they really, really need to upgrade on. So they're going to have to go and find someone else.
Yeah, Eze's still linked, and we can speak about that now because Tottenham and Crystal Palace chairmans Daniel Levy and Steve Parish in direct contact today for the Eberechi Eze deal. Understand Spurs are willing to offer a 55 million fixed fee plus 5 million in add-ons to get the deal done. Eze informed Palace last week of his desire to join Tottenham. Now, we saw him last night play at Chelsea, right? He was robbed of a free kick, and I think the Law 13 is a joke. But there was this moment, Dylan, when at the end of the game, he's over by the Crystal Palace fans. He's clapping them. He taps the badge. Was that a goodbye to you? Is that his last ever game for Crystal Palace after such an amazing stint there the last 5 years? He's won an FA Cup, he's won the Community Shield, scored some great goals and been a part of some entertaining football. But there were obviously links to him and Arsenal last week. But it now seems that because of this contact today between the chairman, it looks like he could be going to Tottenham now.
I think it's a decision that's going to be taken in terms of if that was his goodbye. Because their Palace are playing on Thursday, are they? Or I might completely made that up. Their next game might not be Thursday. But either way, it feels like this deal's going to happen. Like, especially if Spurs have missed out on their other signing.
They're playing next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Okay, I've made that up completely.
In the Conference League, but that's a playoff.
No, they're not playing first leg Thursday.
Oh, sorry, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so they're playing on Thursday. And I remember Glasner saying something on, he was very confident that Eze was going to play for them that day. And that is at Selhurst Park. So could maybe the deal's starting to happen, and then Palace might drag it out to make sure it's not completed until Friday, so that he plays at Selhurst Park for one last time. But also that's players have done that often. You had Emi Martinez doing that at the end of last season with Aston Villa, looked very emotional, waving to the crowd. Obviously he came to Old Trafford and got a red card last day of the season. But last game at Villa Park, they did that before. But then he's still there. Emi Martinez will be playing next weekend for obviously because he missed the opening day of the season because he had a red card. But it maybe, and I think this move will go through. I think that definitely will go, and I'm surprised Arsenal haven't done more about it, because obviously I saw Cecil a few weeks ago saying something along the lines of, why is Eze going Spurs over Arsenal? But at the end of the day, Spurs are the ones that have actually made a move for him. Arsenal just haven't made a move. Yeah, they've been liking him, interested, and granted, I don't think he actually fits Arsenal as well as he would fit somewhere like Spurs, but at the same time, they never actually went in and never actually made a move for him. So, and if they've missed out on Savinho, if he's staying at City, then yeah, 100%, I reckon Eze will end up at Tottenham.
At Tottenham.
Because they need a flair attacker like him, and he was so good against Chelsea. He's such a good player. Yeah, he's a good player. Really, really rate him.
Very, very much so. Savinho source is fake AGT. Ooh, says a space sign. Let's get that checked out.
You keep reading. I'll do some digging.
People really need to wake up and get the business done earlier, at least the key players, and fill out the support players afterwards. Brackets, Arsenal, I'm talking to you, says the guy in the chat. Just staying on Palace, they're looking at Leicester's El Kanous as a potential replacement, and also Club Brugge's Christos Zoli. Club Brugge do not want to sell Zoli though. I mean, again, you've got to replace him if you bring that kind of money in. 55.
It's a mixed report. It's from I can't say his name.
Guillaume Balaguer.
Yeah, Guillaume Balaguer. So it's not like it's fake.
No, he's a very well-respected journalist.
Yeah, but I think it is maybe one of those things of it's the first hint that he might be staying, so therefore maybe Orney will come out in a couple of hours and confirm it or deny it or something. But it's not like it's fake.
If you were Eze and you've got Tottenham or Arsenal on the table, try and be as objective as you can. Where would you go and why? Let's just say, for instance, both teams put
specifically
the offer on the table,
Eze. That's a good question. Honestly, probably Spurs.
Really?
I think it suits him better and it fits him more.
World Cup, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if he wants to get in that squad in the World Cup. Oh yeah, good. Madison, I would say, sorry, not good, but as in good point. And also, it's always Arsenal's interest in Eze has slightly baffled me at points because Saka is such a touchline winger and Martinelli's such a touchline winger that if you have a touchline winger on one side, you need something similar on the other side. Otherwise, if you've got someone who's playing out wide on one side and then someone who comes in a lot on the left-hand side, you're kind of squeezing your front line together unless you've got a really bombing fullback on the left flank to then get really up the pitch and up and down the pitch to compensate for that. It feels like you make defending a bit easier because all your attackers are close together. But if you've got someone like Saka, you need to stretch along the other way. And I did feel like Eze probably can do that because Eze is a fantastic player. I rate him so highly, but it's not where he's at his best. Whereas at Spurs under Thomas Frank, obviously Thomas Frank plays a mix of 3 at the back and 4 at the back. When he's playing 4 at the back, Eze can play pretty central and Kudus can do well out wide. And when they're playing 3 at the back, Eze can play that kind of 10-ish role that he had at Palace that I think suits him almost perfectly. So in terms of, as a player, getting to play week in, week out, impress Thomas Tuchel, get on that plane for the World Cup, I think Spurs might be the better move because also Spurs are at the start of their new project. Arsenal are very much in the middle and getting towards what they hope will be the pinnacle of their project. Eze won't be playing as much. And although Arsenal, you might think, are maybe the more prestigious club here and there, obviously their fans will certainly argue that. I just think for his, personally for him, I reckon Spurs is the better move for his career. In terms of he wants to become... Oh yeah, so because also... Sorry, I'm going on a bit here. Eze is a big fish in a smaller pond, and I think he continues to be so at Spurs. Whereas we've seen many times when you go from big fish, small pond to big fish, big pond, you got Grealish and go. It's not always worked out as well. But I think Eze would become Spurs' main guy. He would be there. I really think he'd be that, especially with Maddison out. He'd be their main guy. So he'd still be relied upon just as much, which is how he thrives under the pressure and with the responsibility, and he will get that at Spurs.
And if you're looking at replacements for Eze, Leicester's El Kanous is touted, Christos Zoli as well from Club Brugge. Do you think they should be, with all due respect to those players, do you think with 60 million quid in the bank, should they be looking at someone a little bit better who, again, can play in Premier League team, come in and, play in Europe as well?
Well, I mean, El Kanous has got Premier experience. He was at Leicester last season. But Palace are good at shopping in the Championship. They've done it a lot. Elise, they did it with Wharton. They've done it with Eze. They've shopped in the Championship a lot and they've generally got it spot on. So if they're looking in the Championship and or like teams who've just been relegated from the Premier League to the Championship, I would trust that they're going to make the right decision to replace Eze because Glasner's got a very good talent ID. He's got very set in his ways, but he's very deliberate in the moves he makes. I reckon whoever they target, I feel like they're going to have really done their checks with it and go through.
Yeah, 32 appearances in last season's Premier League campaign, an awful campaign for Leicester, and 2 goals. One of maybe the dim kind of bright sparks in that kind of setup.
But the other option they have is to go for someone like Harvey Elliott, for example. That is another route they can go. Harvey Elliott.
Can't see Harvey going there.
No, but I'm just meaning that like that's an example. If they were to go a non-championship route, they could see if they can poach one of the slightly outcast players from one of the bigger clubs. Because there is money out there, and if they got the 60 million in the bank, they will be able to sign someone like kind of. I can't not many others can come to mind at the moment, but like Harvey Elliott just first come to mind. But
staying on Palace again, do you know what? This period of all this Palace stuff for me, obviously we played them at Wembley last week. They got the draw yesterday. Eze's link, Guehi's link. I don't think I've ever spoken this much about Crystal Palace across a month.
It's because they're a good club.
I love them.
They've turned into a very 10 years in the Premier League, and they've made the step up. Won the FA Cup, won the Community Shield against City and Liverpool. They deserve to be talked about because they've done so well.
It is brilliant. Staying on them, like I said, Guehi ignoring the manager. We saw after the draw, Glasner was on the pitch. Roy Keane made the point that, why are you even on the pitch as the manager? Just go down the tunnel. But I think there's something to be made, is there not, about Glasner's reaction to, it looked like he called over Marc Guehi and he kind of just carried on walking down the tunnel, give him a bit of a pie. And Glasner kind of stood like this, going, "What's wrong with this guy?" So, is there anything to read into that? And what's the latest on that when it comes to him leaving Palace and going to Liverpool?
It's just a bit odd, isn't it? Like, it's a really weird moment. It's like, what's that? Is it Steve Parish? The meme of him going, "Come over here, come over here, come over here," and he just like, at Newcastle. It's a weird one because I don't know what Glasner's intention was as well. That's like it's hard to like make a judgment on him because you don't know if Glasner was calling him over to try and serenade him in front of people to do a big thing in front of the camera, or he just wanted to have a quick chat and Glasner thought,
but is that the place to do it?
Probably not
on the pitch,
especially as a captain. As a captain, you're number two to the manager for the players. You're the link between the manager and all the players. It's not a nice look for the whole transfer thing. And it's also not necessary. It's not like Palace are adamant to massively keeping him. It seems like they're potentially open to selling him for the right price. So it's not like he's trying to make a point to Palace that he couldn't have made behind closed doors. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
But that's another move that I think that will go through.
You think that will go through? Yeah?
I reckon it will.
To Liverpool?
Yeah.
How much?
35, 40 mil.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely love to see it if it goes through because we definitely need that help there. Isak update, it's gone quiet. It has definitely gone quiet, this one. I think the ball is, at the minute, I would still say in Newcastle's hands because they have the power to, discipline him. He's still got 3 years left on his deal. There's no reason why he can't maybe train and stuff like that. But because of the fact he's left Newcastle, because of the fact that he's not getting in, well, the latest was that he had a meeting with Eddie Howe at the training ground, but he hasn't been training. He's not part of the squad. Newcastle's next game is Liverpool, which a game I'm going to a week today. So it's now got to the point where, yes, it's gone quiet, but this one will explode, will it not, in the last, what?
Are you still? Because I remember a couple of weeks ago you were confident. Are you still confident?
Just because it's gone quiet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I think once the game goes past in a week, there's then a week from then to do a deal. Newcastle are in a position of power still. There's no reason for them to do this deal and give Isak to Liverpool before they play against Newcastle. They're not that silly. So they've offered him new deals. He doesn't want to do it. He's made it very clear he never wants to play for the club ever again. And if there is a deal to be made, it first relies on Newcastle bringing in a replacement. That would have to happen in the next 4 to 5 days. But then there's a week after that, after the game, where I think there's another bid that goes in. And Liverpool at the minute are just biding their time. And then I think in the last 3 to 4, maybe even 2 final days, we get Isak.
If this is a deadline day, if this ends up being a deadline day thing, that's a crazy deadline day. Who do you think needs to blink first? Because realistically,
I think Newcastle, in terms of them buying a striker, that would be kind of step one of this little mini domino effect. And then Liverpool go, right, you're sorted. Cool, you've got a striker. Cool, 135.
And you reckon they'd accept?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would that striker be Wissa, or do you think it would have to be someone else?
He's a Wilson replacement.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. Is do you think Newcastle's position might soften if they bring in Wissa, even if Wissa's not the replacement for Isak initially?
I don't think they're related.
They sign Wissa and it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I do.
So what if Wissa ends up going to the final day then?
Well, Wissa
and they still haven't signed another
has
striker.
removed Brentford from his bio on socials, we're hearing, which is never a good sign. That kind of means more often than not players looking to leave and have an exit there. So until that happens, I mean, they get reinforcements in, wide player can play through the middle. But they need to now go out and get, I mean, who are the latest links? Even, we talk about the Isak update, and we talk about this story's gone quiet, but it's also gone quiet in terms of Newcastle scouting strikers. When was the last time we heard Newcastle were in for like the Sesko level?
Yeah, they were linked to Šeško, and then we got him, and I'm buzzing. But aside from
Since that, we've not really heard.
Aside from that, it was like, yeah, that's it.
Turan, we've not heard about these kind of guys.
It's not like they don't have the cash for it. They put 80 million quid on the table for Šeško and then froze.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're banking on the Isak thing not going through and then bringing him back in.
No, I can't see him.
I have honestly do not know. The whole thing is so messy. I do not know in the slightest.
It's got to that stage now where it's very, very
and it's also
messy,
last 2 weeks. It's a big 2 weeks. Because we also need to sign like a midfielder and potentially another goalkeeper as well. It's a weird 2 weeks left of the window because there's still so much to happen.
Still so much to happen, and Brentford definitely have kind of already moved to replace him with. Well, they tried to get Amari Hutchinson, didn't they? But they still need to replace Wissa and Mboma, really. I know they've got Igor Thiago up front, who scored at the weekend, a little consolation goal there. But
they're in so much trouble.
They are in
so much trouble.
Big trouble.
I feel like Brentford have slightly overestimated who they are. So they've seen, like you've seen Palace, you've seen Brighton, and a couple of the other clubs manage to come up from the Prem and have like 3-4 seasons in the Premier League, and then take a step up and solidify themselves as a solid mid to fighting for Conference League table club. But Brentford, like Brighton, have been so good with it. Like, for example, when they lost Potter and co, they kind of understood that it was going to happen, accepted their place a few years ago where they are, and then were really ahead of time in working out, okay, when inevitably Potter goes, and when inevitably Caicedo goes, and when inevitably Neil Maupay goes, etc., who can we, like, they were already thinking about who we can get back. Whereas Brentford, I felt they could stand there. So they lost Thomas Frank, but they felt they could stand there with Wissa and have the pull to keep him. Stand there with Mbeumo and have the pull to make sure they got all these high deals for them. And they ended up going on for so long, these transfer sagas. And it just, I'm assuming they have thought about replacements, but not to the extent where they were sounding it out and had a plan in place. So I feel like they've maybe lost more than they anticipated because they didn't really understand where they really stood in the rest of this hierarchy and are now suffering for it. Because Wissa doesn't want to stay there, and Mbeumo's gone, Norgard's gone, Frank has gone. And they just haven't, there wasn't a clear action plan in place to make sure that they can kind of negate the negative consequences of that by losing all your good people, and then they hired their set piece coach as head coach.
Yeah, Keith Andrews, who had a rude awakening to life as Premier League manager for sure away at Forest on Saturday. Going on to Arsenal, Leo Trossard very likely to leave Arsenal. Brentford, one of the clubs in for him, as well as Villa and other foreign clubs as well. He's a kind of player that wouldn't play every week for Arsenal, as we know. There's players well ahead of the pecking order for Leo Trossard, but still, a decent age. Look, he's no spring chicken, but at the same age, at the same time, 30, he's still got a lot to offer. Been at Arsenal now for the last 2 years, 92 appearances, 21 goals in the league for him. Is he a type of player that could fit in at a Villa, considering the other talent that they've got? And if it isn't Villa, and we hear other foreign clubs as well, where do you think, if you were him, that you'd want to be ending up? I
think I would. Now that Arsenal aren't signing Eze, and are they linked to another left winger?
Well, loosely in the past to Rodrygo, but I guess Eze would be.
That's what I mean. Like it's not looking like Arsenal are looking for another winger. I could potentially be looking at it and going, I could stay.
Yeah.
Because Martinelli wasn't fantastic against United yesterday. It's like, I know Arsenal need, I agree, they need another left winger, and Noni Madueke can play left wing, but he is better on the right. I would be looking at Arsenal, who's ahead of me and who's battling with me on the left wing, and probably thinking like he's still got a shot there of playing. And you're 30, you're not getting kind of another big contract or a big move elsewhere to another big like kind of trophy pushing team. And Arsenal obviously they've not won anything in 5 years, but they're still there pushing for the league. They're still there pushing for these other cups, and they're in the Champions League. he could choose to go to Villa or a club such as that, or going abroad, but it would almost have to come with the decision of accepting that you're less likely to win anything else big in your career compared to if you're at least in the Arsenal squad. So if Arsenal don't sign another left winger, I'd be looking at it and thinking that I've still got a shot of being that left winger. Where if they do sign another left winger who's like a bona fide clear first choice, then I'd probably be thinking, okay, yeah, then maybe I'll go somewhere where I can play every week.
Yeah. Speaking of people leaving Arsenal, Jacob Kiwior getting closer to a move to Porto, which is probably a good move. You know, Champions League football, not the best stint ever at Arsenal, but definitely, you know, plugged a hole whilst they had so many injuries in that area in central defence last season. But again, you know, a fairly good deal for all parties, that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's never going to play at Arsenal again, is he? Right, realistically, he's not going to be starting over anyone else, so go get your minutes.
Go get your minutes at Porto. Good stuff. Also, just on Manchester United, we know that Roma have been in contact with United about Malacia, but also Adam Wharton. I mean, if you're not going to get Baleba, there's no way you're going to be getting Adam Wharton, who are weighing up, you know, the chances of actually making a bid for Adam Wharton, according to TalkSport. I can't see that happening. Yes, a lot of teams, top teams, would want Wharton, but I think he's got Man City written all over him.
But Wharton
next season, yeah.
I think he's going to go to Real Madrid.
You reckon?
Yeah. I don't know why, and I really don't know why, but it's for me, it screams of Real Madrid next summer.
I'd say
I'm really confident. Okay, this might get clipped or not, whatever. But
here we go.
I'm pretty confident we are going to be signing Baleba next summer.
Maybe next summer.
It feels like it. He really wanted to join us this summer. He was so open to it. We'd already agreed personal terms. He's a United fan. He's already got friends at the club. It's like, it feels so like it would take a monumental effort from another club, or us changing our mind in order for him not to come next summer. And there's no way in hell we're going to be able to sign Wharton and Baleba unless we do something crazy like win the league. We don't have the funds for it. If we were to, and this is never happening in a million years, if we were to storm the Premier League and win it, then yeah, we can probably secure both of them. But that's not happening this season. We're not doing a Leicester this season. So I'm confident we're going to sign Baleba. I'd love Wharton, but at the same time, we've got Kobbie Mainoo. I'm confident. I know there's a lot going around the Kobbie Mainoo at the moment. Like, was he starting? He didn't come on against Arsenal, which was baffling. I don't know why Amram didn't bring him on. But I'm such a believer in.
You're a believer.
I'm a believer. I'm such a believer in Mainoo's ability that he'll play his way into this team, and then Bruno might go next summer, and then we've got Mainoo and Baleba as our first choice midfield next season onwards. And the Wharton signing, I love it, but we do have Kobbie Mainoo at home, who I believe is a better footballer anyway.
Really?
Yeah. I think Kobbie Mainoo's got his stocks are on the floor at the moment because he didn't play last season.
At what time is he gonna get into this team then, according to you?
Just like I'd say in the next, like by the end of September, I think he's starting.
Really?
Yeah. You got the clock on Ugarte is ticking.
He is.
And I reckon.
Pants, isn't it?
I kind of feel.
I called that last year.
He's got worse. He had a point for us where he was okay in his first season. When we were like backs against the wall team, he was good because off the ball he was aggressive.
Year ago,
and then he just dropped off a cliff.
See,
he's properly dropped off.
Sold by any of his performances, really, especially with the pedigree that he came with.
He played well when we didn't have the ball. Now we've got more of the ball. Like you saw when he came on yesterday and he had that chance to play Ahmad through and he shot from 30 yards.
Yeah.
And it's like the decision making, which is why I just feel like once Amorim trusts that this team can keep the ball more, he'll probably be more willing to introduce Mainoo alongside Bruno Fernandes.
Also, Cuti Romero signs a new 5-year deal for Tottenham.
That's really good for Spurs.
5-year deal.
Really good for Spurs. That's really good. Yeah, really good for Spurs.
4-year deal, I think it is actually.
He's so crucial. He's club captain, obviously, but it's really crucial when you've got a new manager coming in like Frank that you keep your big guys and you keep your big dressing room figures. And he's lost Son, which is a big loss for Spurs in terms of just who Son is, not necessarily maybe ability wise because they've brought in Kudus and they look decent. But it's just really, really good to make for Frank to keep his people together because Frank needs he at Brentford he had strong people in that dressing room I forgot who their captain is, that centre back. I forgot his name. Brentford's.
Collins.
Collins, that's it. Nathan Collins, obviously he's only 24, but he's a strong figure. He's their captain now. They had Norgard, etc. before. And obviously Mbumo and Wissa did all their talking on the pitch and led the team on the pitch. It's really good for Frank to have someone who's just like as strong and influential and everything in the dressing room. And a 4-year deal is a big stamp of kind of longer term commitment.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's about it for today. We have spoken about Jadon Sancho to Roma, Leo Trossard. We've spoken about Leon Bailey, a lot of Manchester United chat, a lot of Crystal Palace chat as well. So if you have just joined us on this live, go back and watch the show and be up to date that way. Tomorrow we'll be back at 5 o'clock with more of the same. And if you haven't checked out the 12:30 show from today on DR Sports, make sure you go and do that as we reviewed the whole Premier League weekend. Just a quick reminder that the final one standing is now open again for next week. Well, it opens actually tomorrow morning after tonight's Everton versus Leeds game.
Looking forward
so
to
if you did pick a team last week, Dylan, and you lost or drew, you did go out. But guess what? You can just jump back in this week, and there's still 50k up to play for as well. And if you, again, forgot to enter altogether last week, then, again, the new game is there ready for you to join. So someone is guaranteed to win every single time. And if they're the final one standing, they're getting 500k cash. And whilst you're at it, you can also set up private leagues with your mates at the same time, because nothing stings more than getting knocked out and hearing all about it in the WhatsApp group, of course, right? It's 18 plus, UK and Ireland only. Always gamble responsibly. T's and C's apply. Full conditions below. Dylan, thanks for coming on, man. Really good insight
Always
into
a pleasure.
Manchester United once more. We'll be back with more of the same tomorrow. Make sure on the way out you smash that like button, get your chats in still, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys.